Welcome back, peeps, to another episode of the Tooth or Dare podcast. Peeps with your peep, Irene. Hello, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. If you're driving to work, what's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. I'm going to keep this intro short because I want to get right into this episode. We did a part one with Dr. Nekky Jamal last week where he shared a pretty inspirational story of how he got started in dentistry, kind of the final words that his mom said to him and how he took that and created an actionable life plan, which is amazing for a 13-year-old. In this episode, we talked about his lecture, and he was at ODA. We recorded this live at the Philips Sonicare booth, and he was telling us about the reason he put together this lecture series is to help general dentists navigate some difficult perhaps post-operative or even operative complications that can arise doing third molar extractions and how to make them a little bit easier. So if that's a question that you might have or know someone that struggles with third molar extractions, then I encourage you to share this episode with them. So here it is. Enjoy, and I'll catch you next week. I'm going to share the episode that I did with him and his podcast co-host Akil on the Hi, I'm Doctor podcast next week. So it'll be a crossover podcast episode. So stay tuned for that. And peace out, peeps. Bye. Welcome back, peeps, to another episode of the Tooth or Dare podcast, part 2 with Dr. Nekky Jamal. In the last episode, you heard all about why he became a dentist. If you haven't listened to it or watched it on YouTube, you should go back now because you don't want to miss that. We were a little teary. There were some tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about why you're here at ODA. We're recording this live on the trade show floor. Trade show just opened, so the swarms of people are showing up at the Philips booth. Thank you for letting us record this
Absolutely.
here. You've got a few lectures over the next few days. Complicated extractions made simple, tricky, third molars. You're a general dentist that is focused your entire now current practice life to thirds and exos and implants and haven't prepped a tooth or crown and
But I need to qualify. I need to qualify that though, Irene, because I hear this a lot.
But your practice is a general practice.
It's a proud general practice.
And you are you are the guy in the practice that does it. So it's this like intricate referral system.
Yeah.
How does the practice work?
So I live in a rural area.
Okay.
Let's take a step back. I right off the bat, I get so many people right away saying, "Who the hell do you think you are?"
Who says that?
Oh, other GPs, we all got egos. We got egos in this profession. We all got egos.
I'm looking at you, GPs. Where are you? Which camera do I look at? Just
but I hear
simmer.
I hear it from surgeons too, right? And I say to everyone, let's just take our egos off the table for a sec. And I say, did anyone show you how to take out a tooth properly? Well, no, dental school let you down, right? Well, yeah. How do you know what to take on and what to refer?
Yeah.
Why don't we listen to each other? We've all been in the shit. We've all been way in over our heads, and yet we kind of hide our failures and we hide our mistakes because we're too scared to be proud of them. And my entire lecture is not about how you take out teeth. It's showing you where I messed up. It's showing you what to take on and what to refer. Learn from my mistakes. I want to be, like I said in the last podcast, I want to be your hype man. I want to show you how to succeed. But a lot of my practice is knowing what I cannot take on.
Yeah.
And so many people, they're proud to show me their Instagram photos, and I'm like, that doesn't make you a good dentist. Showing me your highlight reel?
Yeah. Show me your failures, bro.
Show me when you were benched.
Yeah.
Show me when you got scolded. That's what makes me proud. And I still remember my very first tooth in practice. I go to split it, don't really know what I'm doing, right? Because dental school didn't prepare me. Okay, I'm working in a rural area. Push the palatal root of an upper 6 right into the
sinus.
socket. Yeah, into the sinus. And how do you start off a career like that? So I go.
So what'd you do?
Tail between my legs to the oral surgeon. Yo, what?
Hey,
I don't even know. Hey friend, I just graduated. My name's Nekky. Yeah.
So I'm fucked up.
Yeah, you better write my name down because I'm going to be sending you everything for the rest of my life. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
So what did he do?
Well, he got it out. Yeah, he did. I referred him.
How did he do it?
2.5 hours away.
No.
He made a hole in the sinus and got it out. Caldwell Luke. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then it was like,
So what would you
I'm
have
not
done
invincible.
differently at this point? So how?
Learn how to section teeth.
Yeah.
Learn that access and visibility is the most important thing, and without that, you can't even begin. Everything we do in dentistry comes down to access and visibility. If you can't see what you're doing, stop.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're going to be in the shit.
Yeah.
And so that's the stuff I want to teach, is I want to show you when I'm looking at an x-ray, how do I know I'm going to have an oral antral communication? How do you know if this is at risk of a broken jaw? How do you know all the signs of possible
Did you say
paresthesia?
at risk for a broken jaw?
Yeah. Like, no,
What?
we don't want to be taking out a 58-year-old distoangular full bony, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is, but like,
Okay.
some general dentist, just because it's in your chair does not mean you have to take it out.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's the missing link is at every one of my lectures I say, let's all put down our guard and let's share our failures. Let's do this. I'm going to show you mine. Okay, and then if you want to talk to me about yours and see how we can like treatment plan this, because there's so many new dentists in the room.
Yeah.
And I find in dentistry, there's the Dunning-Kruger effect times 10. So we know what that is.
Yeah, the cat in the box.
Yeah, when we
I literally just did a whole episode on the cat in the box. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're a brand new grad, you think you're on top of the world. You think you know everything.
Yeah.
And then you realize, 5 years out, oh, maybe I don't know anything. 10 years out, you're like, oh, now I'm scared to take on things because I know this is coming right back at me. 20 years out, I don't even want to do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
And so why don't we just speed up that process? And that's why I teach.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to take the ego
I
out of
want to
it.
see your
Yeah.
failures. I feel like those would be really cool, like individual little YouTube podcast videos. You
Yeah.
should totally like put up a camera and record the whole thing. That'd be pretty sick. You're
Yeah.
right. I mean, people want to learn from mistakes, but we're so afraid of like, our college coming at us
Totally.
or like our colleagues not being so kind in the comments. Like,
Absolutely.
I struggle with that too. And you're right. Like the highlight reel is so much easier to post
Yeah.
than the failures.
And it's not fair that, like, you send all your crap to the oral surgeon.
Sure.
Like, the oral surgery office is not a complication cemetery.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not where you just pawn all your patients off to, because then they get upset at you, and
Sure.
that's not fair for them. And then it becomes this dynamic of
Yeah.
just poor relationships. And that's what I'm trying to
I
avoid.
had this great conversation with an oral surgeon. I'll link the episode below with Dr. Bloody Tooth Guy, Jason Auerbach.
Yeah.
Before he came out like officially to the world as who he was, we had this like video call. I was like, damn, I can't believe I get to see his face first. And that's one thing that he said
love
is,
you, Irene.
yeah, I was like fangirling over like the face. I was like, it was really funny. It was a really funny episode. But that was one thing that I took away from that is he mentioned, like I asked him, what are your favorite procedures to do? It's a question that I asked. He's like, oh, I love placing implants. They don't specifically love the gory, gross stuff. Like, and oral surgery has this like preconceived notion that, they're just like big barbaric dudes just like banging in the local anesthetic at like 1,000 miles per hour
Yeah.
and like ripping teeth out.
That's not it.
But there's like a lot of finesse that oral surgery has
Absolutely.
too. A lot of soft tissue stuff that gets managed. But they have like, everyone just feels like, well, I'm going to send my delicate stuff to my periodontist, but I'm going to send the hardcore stuff to my oral surgeon.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not true. He's like, I'm just as good, if not better, at placing in delicate stuff because I can also do like the other stuff as well. So having that conversation was a takeaway. So I like picked up the phone and I called both of the people that I refer to. I was like, hey, Dr. Bud, tell me about your favorite procedures. And I did the same thing with my oral surgeon. And interestingly enough, they were very different.
Yeah.
So it was like, cool. Like I used to send this to oral surge. I'm going to now send this to perio a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Understanding what each one of those clinicians
Yeah.
prefers.
Absolutely.
What would you say the like top 3 most scary things would be for a general dentist when starting any form of like surgical interventions in their practice? So you're a new grad.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to dabble a little. What's the scariest thing that could happen to like an everyday patient?
Oh, man. I guess every
Other
day
than the
patient-
perf.
Other than the root and the sinus.
Yeah.
I think scariest, like right off the bat, is You go to take out, because like an upper third molar.
Yeah.
They can be the easiest teeth you take out, and they can be the hardest tooth you take out. And understanding which one's hard and which one's not, because if you push it distally, it goes in the infratemporal fossa or another facial space, and that's dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of dentists don't even know that exists. They just say, oh, it's small, let me just go after it.
Yeah.
And they really shouldn't be, and that's what I'm talking about in my lecture. But that's something super scary. Second one is not understanding like the possibility of paresthesia or mandibular nerve damage when you're taking out a tooth. You have to know how to assess it, whether that's through hand, CBCT, understanding what you get into, but also just broken root tips. I'd say that's the most common thing dentists go up against, and they break them, can't get them, it starts bleeding, so they start digging and digging and digging, and they make a simple situation 100 times worse. The most common thing we will see is broken root tips. And if we can learn how to section teeth a little bit
or with the right instrument to use in a certain situation.
Yeah, we can avoid a lot of those situations.
Yeah.
But, as a new grad, I didn't know how to do any of those.
Yeah.
And my mentor just was a dick.
Oh.
And so here I am in a rural area trying to learn as I go, and then I just
Your mentor wasn't really a mentor.
No, and so you seek mentorship, and you go to different courses, and you meet different people, and I've been throughout the world and learning from different dentists, and I would volunteer everywhere. I've been on 19 mission trips.
That's cool.
And I learned from the dentists on those trips, and some of them were surgeons, some were GPs, and they're like, Nekky, this is where you have to push. This is how you avoid this. This is how you avoid that. And you continue to take courses, and then you put it all together, and that's where I am today.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like to end off part 2 with some tough questions.
Let's do it.
Are you open?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have any guilty pleasures?
I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
And I binge a ton of Netflix in the middle of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night? Like 3 a.m. Netflix?
Yeah.
How do you function the next day?
I'll sleep I'll go like 11 till 3, and then I just wake up. And when I wake up, I just can't go back to sleep.
No way.
So I'll just start binging Netflix. And my favorite, if you're going to talk about guilty pleasures, all the dating shows on Netflix.
No
oh my
way.
God, Love is Blind. I love all that stuff.
Stop it. Yeah. You can watch those?
Oh, I love it.
I like fast forward through half of the stuff. It's like I just want to see what happens in the room. Totally. I don't care about the interview afterwards.
That's right.
Give me if I could if it was like a YouTube video where it had little timestamps, I would totally do that.
No,
okay.
And it allows my brain to turn off.
Do you read?
I read nonfiction. I haven't read a fiction book since high school. I don't like that. I like a lot of nonfiction. I love learning about storytelling. My girlfriend, her name is Nicole. She just is starting. She's already a writer, and she's getting her master's in fine arts. She just got accepted. And she's such a phenomenal. Yeah, she's the best writer I've ever met in my life, and I wish I was a quarter of the storyteller and writer she is. And so I love reading about storytelling, and I love reading about how the brain works that way. Yeah.
Cool. Last question. What's one thing you wish you didn't know? Doesn't have to be dental.
No?
No.
That people aren't who they always seem to be. Yeah. And that's why, honestly, Irene, at the beginning, I guess, of the last episode, I was 100% genuine, because I don't know you. I don't know you at all. I met you on your podcast. I follow you on Instagram. I see the persona of Irene. Okay? But for you to reach out and for you to say, hey, you can borrow my podcast equipment to run your own podcast, that is so genuine. You will never find that in dentistry.
No.
Yeah, it's that's what friendships are all about. And once you get to that layer of that person, that's who you've met an ally, you've met a friend.
Thank you. And I agree with that sentiment. I also wish that I didn't know to what extent people would go to get ahead. Yeah. And I don't agree with you with saying that it's friendship. I think it's just human kindness. Yeah. It's just that's the part that is lacking. I think, and that's a product of our evolution. We're looking around at the trade show floor, everyone here's got something to sell. Yeah. Everyone wants to sell something to you, whether it's their product, whether it's them. 50% of the people that are working for these companies might not be there a year later because they bounced to something else. So you build this hardness to you, I think. Yep. That
I get let down a lot.
Absolutely.
I guess that's the takeaway that I have, is that I get let down a lot. I get let down by the people that I want to help, but I don't let it affect me to say that I'm not going to give the benefit of the doubt to the next human that walks into my life. I don't let the hardness happen.
I like that.
And my mom's like that. My mom is just like the most generous person. She'll like give you the clothes off her back. Literally, she'll like, oh, you like my shoes? Yeah, I don't wear them anyways. You can have them. It was like an ongoing joke when I was a kid that like as soon as something stopped fitting me, she would give it away to somebody else and be like, where did those jeans go? And she's like, oh, I gave them away. And like everything that I owned, she would give away.
I love that.
So anyways, thank you for
Thank
spending
you.
your morning with me before you go and lecture.
Thank you.
And hopefully I'll see you guys on your podcast a little later before I bounce.
I love it.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
All right. Peace
Good
out,
job.
peeps.
We'll see you later.